any HR or anyone in HR as a leadership role has to understand ultimately the customer, because if as an HR or if as an employee of the company I can understand the customer of the company or business, that is when I can partner with the business to create delight for the ultimate customer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Rahul Abhishek, your host, and also the founder of HireWithEve.ai, an AI agent for applicant screening that helps reduce hiring time by 90%. Our guest today is Mr. Anand Arora. To introduce Anand, he's the Vice President of Human Resources at Landmark Group, which is an omnichannel retail and hospitality giant, currently doing a revenue of about 40 billion. Anand has previously worked with companies such as Bharti, Airtel, and American Express, and he also holds an MBA in HR from IIM Lucknow. So, welcome to the podcast, Anand.
Thank you. Thanks, Rahul. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Perfect. So, why don't we kick off the conversation by first learning more about your career, your journey. How have you reached where you are today? And would be great to kick off things with that.
Sure. So I joined the profession or thing as a finance profession,
Okay.
and then I moved into being an HR professional because I loved the way HR works and interacts with humans, which is the most difficult job, I would say. Because if you buy machinery, you know it will work. If you buy any building, you know you will get things done. But if you have people, you don't know how it will be.
Right.
So that's the most exciting bit about HR, and that's why I moved in. So I think by qualification you have already mentioned. So that's about me. That's how I kind of started, and today more than 20 years of experience in the industry, uh, into
Yeah.
diverse roles, diverse industries.
So that's great, and I
Yes.
also understand that you have an LLB in law is in
Yeah.
your education, and then finance was where you kind of started in, and then you transitioned to HR. So I think the biggest question here is what led you to switch and from law to finance, and then finance to HR. You of course answered part of it, which is your love for uncertainty, but would be still good to know your younger self, what was going in your mind.
Okay. So actually, when I was having my graduation completed, I heard this term which is company secretary, and when I kind of got into that, it was almost like company secretary can do anything and everything possible in the corporate world. Then that's when I decided to do the CS. With CS, I was told that if you do CS, you will do LLB also. It is a good combination, so I did my LLB as well. When I joined, I didn't enjoy much. It's not that people you couldn't build a career over there, but I didn't enjoy as a person. So thought of kind of changing, and then somehow payroll kind of stuck with me, or someone told me to get into payroll. I did it, and then interaction kind of started. I started learning about it, and then the quest was, okay, payroll is just an implementation. The decision is taken by the comp and ben. Then why don't you get into comp and ben, where the decision is getting taken?
Right.
So moved into comp and ben, and thanks to my earlier process who let me move over there. So that's what it is.
Great, great, great. So makes sense, makes sense. You want to be, you wanted to be closer to where the decisions are being made, and it makes sense. It makes sense. So perfect. So Anand, one of our thinking and belief is that HRs are the superheroes of the organization, and primarily because you get the people in who are then working on making the vision and mission alive, really, of the company. And would be nice to get your thoughts on that. What do you think about that thinking of being the superhero of the organization? And post that would be also interesting to know the flip side of the coin, which is what are some of the inherent weaknesses you've noticed over years in this function of HR?
Hey, thanks first of all for calling us superheroes. Not many people kind of take it or call it that way. See, one thing I would say the HR professional brings first and foremost is empathy with the people or empathy towards the people. That balancing act, because that is when you kind of hit to the employee or to anyone. And that connect, I don't think many people or many functions would have. So that is the first and foremost that brings us as a superhero, because employees are finally the people who are going to deliver it. It's not only the leadership team, it is the whole employees who have to do it. And second, we are the ones who are the change makers, because we know employee, and we know the sentiments, we know what will work and what will not work for the employee as well as for the company. So we are the ones who can drive the change more. So that these are one or two, I think, superhero or super qualities that uh, HR brings to the table. The the flip side of it is what I said. Many of the people, or many people, think that the HR function is only about doing administrative, issuing the letters and making sure the rangoli is done, making sure film shows or the offsites are arranged, which many a times is part of the job for something, but not the only job. And many times, that is what employees perceive. So it's an external and internal to the HR as a function, I would say, or HR as a professional. Whenever you talk to any HR professional, not many would be very comfortable with the numbers. Though I have a finance background, I kind of love numbers, but then that's one thing I think today, which is expected from HR also, that should know about the numbers, should understand the numbers. And I think that one thing, that if I'm in a HR, numbers are not my friend, or I need not work on numbers, is something that I would say internally within HR we need to be, or flip side of us.
Right. Okay, I mean that's a very particular and specific area of weaknesses. I mean, if I just kind of go kind of dig deeper there, so even if it is it is a weakness, then what are some kind of ideas or ways have you even tried to in a way improve this in the team you have, or is this something that is inherent and hey, let's work around it, or what's your thinking about it? How have you gone in a way addressing it in your organization?
Sure. So what I have done is kind of I have banked on it through my technology. So
Okay.
what I have done is all the dashboards or all regular reports per se are all automated. So
Okay.
today, even today, if you tell me, Anand, what is the attrition in a particular landmark store, I can tell you right now, on that particular store, in that particular department, what is the attrition going on, and how many people have left, what is the percentage, how it is with the last. So what it helps is at least few things which can be automated. What is the fill ratio? What is the absenteeism? How many employees are working late after, say, particular day? How many women are working after it? There are few which are like, I would say compliance requirements, but few which are where you need not kind of put your effort and money into it again and again within the team. What has been done is automation,
Right.
and anything that is repeated in the organization or within the HR, I would say, why can't we automate it? And that's what kind of drives it further, that let's make it as a process. And once the process is defined, once the SOP is defined, the moment something is defined in an SOP, the next thing is, okay, now that everything is designed, why can't we automate it? And then it goes for automation. So that kind of helps. In addition to that, there are certain trainings that will be there, like Excel trainings or other things which people go through, and the project given. It's not only 3 hour session you attend and then after that you forget about it. There would be something as a project given, and then you have to present, and then they have to kind of take it forward. So these are few things I would say that I am trying to implement within the team.
Great. I mean, that's a great way to put it. I think you've already very well organized this part of the process, and the expectations are also set from people. So that is super. Now, if I zoom out and you having a play, you play a leadership role in the company, and that too in a giant. What has been your vision for the function of HR, and how do you see that helping with business success and overall business growth?
Sure. See, first of all, I would say any HR or anyone in HR as a leadership role has to understand ultimately the customer. Because if, as an HR or if, as an employee of the company, I can understand the customer of the company or business, that is when I can partner with the business to create delight for the ultimate customer. As I said, I am the or HR is a function which will know the employees best. And if I know my internal employees best, who are going to bring delight to the customers, I'm the one who can drive that change. I'm the one who can actually make sure that the customer delight is delivered through one common goal of training and making sure the employees also have that, or I would say building a high performance culture within the company so that all deliver towards this one goal of customer delight. So that's the first thing. Second, I would say that what I focused on is make the decisions data driven rather than only, yes, this person is kind of looks to be good, very, very diligent, does his job on time, let's kind of do it. Rather than that, let's take the decision basis the data, how things have been happening for that person or that function, or how many innovations have been driven by that function. To give you an example of customer delight, I was in my previous company, I was with Yum Restaurant, and we had a Pizza Hut is one of the brands that we had there. So one of the pizzas of Domino's I really loved,
Okay.
and I was going back to Domino's again and again and again for having that pizza. I actually spoke to my innovation person and I told him, I said, I love this pizza. I think this is a very good value for money that Domino's is delivering. And that time it was like Domino's had launched this 40 rupees pizza in the market. So I said, this is very good value for money. And I, as a person, I love it. I don't know, is it I'm being cost conscious or otherwise, but yes, I love it. So he said, okay, let me see. And Rahul, within, I would say, 4 to 6 months, they actually made a better pizza than Domino's. And obviously, it is biased because I was with the Pizza Hut. So, and they launched a product. And I won't say that it was only me who said, and hence they do it. There would have been some customers asking for it. There would have been something that they would have got from CRMs and all that. And they made it happen. And still, even after leaving that company today, it's more than 9 years it is there, but still there is something in my heart that yes, when I asked for it, they delivered it. And this is like knowing the customer or knowing the company and then asking for it. So that's what I would say, these are the changes, or these are the things. If you know the customer well, if you know things well within the company, that's when you drive business. And that once you drive business as an HR or as any other function, that's when you get seat also on the table, because you are talking now business language and not the HR language. What this is the benefit that we need to give to the employee.
I
Now
think
you're talking, this is what you need to give to the customer. And that's when they also respect you. Yeah, you are giving a right input now.
that was a fantastic example, and that really drilled down the point of being at the business table and driving what the goal of the business is: customer delight. And yeah, and you were at Yum Brands, and you mentioned that so you were going to Domino's, but then you helped Pizza Hut improve its pizza, right? So I mean, what a fantastic example there. So let's continue. And of course, you're a big fan of technology, like we spoke. So if you can add there, and let's use this pillar of course, customer delight, right? The ultimate North Star. Then how have you seen some of the new technology really adding to benefits, efficiency for your team within the function? And would be great again with some stories or example to really understand that.
Okay, so I spoke to you with respect to the dashboards and others. I am not going to repeat that, but yes, For the employees, I would say one of the biggest thing that we have launched in, I would say, 2 years back is the chatbot, right?
Okay.
Now, it is a chatbot that actually talks to the employee, not like a AI chatbot. It is just the policies uploaded. It is not like too much of customizations or anything. But it understands the moment I log in, it understands that it is Anand Arora, Vice President in the company.
Okay.
If I say that I need to know my leave policy and I can do a misspelling of leave because
Yeah.
80% of my employees that I hire are 10th to 12th pass, right? So even if I type leave as LEACE, it will
Hmm.
give me what is the leave policy.
Okay. Okay. That's great. That's
It will
great.
give me what it is applicable to me as well as my grade. And if it doesn't understand, finally, two, three, four attempts, it doesn't understand the question that the employee is making, it will actually throw up and say, hey, generally, people in your group are asking this. Are you looking at that? And it will throw three, four, five options to the employee. Still, employee is not convinced. This is not what I am kind of understanding. The bot will say, okay, no problem. You why don't you raise a ticket? And there itself there would be a ticket that one can raise. And the moment I launched it, I didn't add even a single resource because these tickets were coming in. Now imagine a team handling 20,000 employees query could come up. We don't know how much would be the hit ratio, how much queries will come. And I said, we will not even add one resource. The reason is today also you are handling queries, though it comes on your email. Tomorrow you have to answer it in this tool. So we will not hire anyone to answer queries. Tool is intelligent enough to kind of reply back or route it to the right person, not reply back, route it to the right person. And it goes and sits in that bucket. If it is not right, obviously one can retransition it or do whatever. Now with that, what has happened today, the adoption rate of it is around 90%, which means that every employee, and you know the attrition in our case is north of 60-70% for first year. Still the adoption rate anytime you check is plus of 90%, which means if Anand Arora is there and Rahul joins me and Rahul says, Anand, what is the leave policy or what is this policy, can I take a bereavement leave? Anand will say, यार मेरे को पता नहीं है, एक काम कर, look into this app and this will give you an answer. Anand will not say go to an HR. Anand will say download this app, it will work.
And that is
That's
great.
when it drives.
Yeah.
And that was initially launched as an app, but now we have made it as a platform. Any new thing that we do, any new thing, whether it is international IJP, whether it is a new benefit, whether we have to drive something, we'll put it on LM Genie and make it all your Mediclaim cards, all the day-to-day holiday calendars, all the leave calendar, anything and everything, leave balances you want. We have made it as a platform. So this is a platform, one-stop shop for all the employees. And that's when they talk about it. This is like a simple thing, but then very high in terms of the adoption. Birthday messages will go. Birthday message of my peer will come to me, of my boss will come to me, of my subordinate will come to me, so that I can wish them. Small thing, but kind of engages much more my anniversary, anything and everything. Other than that, we have also launched a few benefits for the employees. Like we have something for employees where we have tied up with a third party, which provides immediate transfers or immediate loans to the employees. Zero
Nice.
cost for us as a company, but small cost for the employees. Now there are technologies talking to each other, so daily the attendance will go. People can apply. If I resign, I will not be able to get. If you are there, you will get up to the limit. Whatever amount you take, it will be deducted. Such strong partnership, or I would say the integrations have been built with these systems where for employee it is like, oh, it is company's one more app where I can get. Company doesn't provide me any advance, but yes, if I need for my day to day. And it is as fast as the moment you are, say, you want to pay to the cab driver, you find that you don't have anything in your bank account, you request for it, and within seconds, the money will come, hit you, you pay to the cab driver and gone. It's that fast, which we
Wow.
would never have been kind of, as a retail company, I would never even get into that because that's not my core. Neither I want to go there. But I find a partner who was ready to do it and let employee take it. Such things, such delights, kind of, there are various benefits that we provide to the employee. Today, all the employees across Landmark Group have a 24/7 doctor available on call. And it's not only for employees, it is also for their dependents. Obviously, emergencies cannot be treated online, but common cough, cold, second opinion, third opinion about the things, you can just get in touch with these doctors, and these are well qualified doctors. Almost all specialties covered, whatever are provided. Even a psychiatrist, even a psychologist is available there. Best of the best doctors are there. I want to talk to the doctor mid of the night because there is maybe a stomach ache with my child. I can just call and talk to them. Even that provides the home delivery of medicines. All these, and again, these are all integrated from the system. So employee doesn't have to share anything. It is just the base data goes, and after that, if you want to sign up, do it. If you don't want to, nothing kind of changes for you. So these are few things I would say. Yes, technology plus the benefits, which kind of change anything and everything for the employee. In fact, we provide various voluntary policies also for the employees, like base insurance everyone offers. But with respect to even top up of your, like, you can double your insurance by paying small amount. Even we provide a voluntary OPD policy, which
Right.
means the normal cough, cold, regular maintenance, someone is going through diabetes, BP, all that is covered. And it's voluntary. If you want to take it, you take it. I and my family is healthy. I don't want to take it, no problem. And when you kind of do it at a group level, costs are much lower and everyone gets it.
Yeah, I mean, these are
So it has
fantastic
technology
systems.
and
Yeah.
benefits of it.
I mean, there's definitely fantastic systems for the employees, and it's really great to hear about these because, I mean, while all of this technologically is possible, but I'm not sure how many organizations have actually integrated it such that it really helps for the benefit of the employee. So those are great examples there, Anand. I mean, as I was saying, so it was great examples there, and being in the retail sector, and as you mentioned, that of course very high attrition there. So one of the things I wanted to understand is what has been some of the effective strategies for you for both talent acquisition as well as retention.
See, talent acquisition, it is more about, I would say, initially the employer brand building. How do you do? And and it can be different for different kind of employees. Like I will give you an example of my last company where we had a lot of attrition, initial attrition in the team member hiring. What we did was, whenever there was a interview happening, and it is a, say, a campus hire, or otherwise it is like walk-in interviews, not the campus per se, but walk-in interviews, you will do a 2 to 3 minutes video or a 5 minute video of how the life of a team member is. Right, it looks very attractive from outside because these kids would come maybe from tier 2, tier 3 cities, and then when they get into, it's a AC office, your food is there, there is no one kind of talking to you in an abusive language, everyone is respecting each other. That conversation itself is totally different, the thing itself is totally different. But when you get into there, you realize that, like in retail, you have to stand for almost like 10 hours,
Yeah.
right? Because whenever there is a customer, you have to walk with them, and it hardly gives you a time that you can sit. Secondly, if you are, say, in a KFC or something where you have to stand next to the burner or next to where the things are getting heated or fried and all that. And then when you do that, flour is kind of fixed on the chicken and all. It's a really, really hard thing to do, right? And
Yeah.
then the reality hits them. Then where they realize, oh God, it is not like so attractive the way when I joined it. It is difficult job. So what we did was we made a, I think, 5-minute video,
Hmm.
and whenever there is a walk-in, we'll first play that video and say, this is your job. This is what you will go through it day in and day out. Are you ready for it? Then is, and once they see it that it is not that attractive, this is what kind of binds them. So that brought us a bit of initial hiring attrition. In the corporate, it is more of brand building through maybe getting into addresses in the various forums, talking to people, building that culture of stickiness within the company. And when your own employee go out and talk about good about you, they become your brand ambassadors, right? And that's when you get more and more people. Like I was discussing with one of the new joiners last week. I said, you are working with this company. What made you join? Uh, he said, you know what? I spoke to 2 or 3 people within my company and checked with them what it is, and they said, close your eyes and join them. You don't even think twice. That's when, and maybe I knew few of them, but none of them kind of approached me and told me, this guy is joining you or something, which is just that what they experienced over here, they kind of told and said. So this is what brand building is all about. Not only in the forums that you go, not only in the, you do your top things at NIFTs and all, but that helps. But then this is the brand ambassadors are the one who will help you much more. In terms of retention, again, it is I would say, it is how you, it can depend upon the employee to employee or grades to grades or
Yeah.
levels to level, how you want to do it, depending upon how it is, whether you retain the employees to grow them. Because if you provide them growth, then they are going to stick. They are going to stick. Because if I can tell a store team member that in next 5 years you could be a department manager or a store manager, and I will help you out to bring that journey out for you. The moment someone who is a team member even thinks of that he can be a department manager or a store manager, his entire life is changed, because his entire lifestyle would change. Even that changes for his kids or his entire family. Someone who is earning a minimum wage to someone who is managing 50 of such people who are earning minimum wage as well. So the entire lifestyle changes for them. So that's when you kind of maybe retain. And plus the normal policies of, I would say, retention bonuses or making the people stick through some of the ESOPs or other things kind of help you. But I would say these are, and yes, culture, as I said, it is not only for the attracting the talent, it is also how you kind of treat them during what they are here, that binds them.
Right, right. I mean, again, I mean, very, very practical, and those are great ways and insights of how to go about retaining as well as attracting. Now, just shifting gears a bit and talking about the current market and economy. What is your observation of the current trends, both within the function of HR and the function getting impacted with what is happening in the economy?
See, day before I was in one of the forums and I was just speaking to a few people over there. And I was surprised to know, to be honest, that ultimately it is every employee can give maximum of 3 hours of productivity. And that's the maximum in a day. That was like, oh, really? But I see people sitting there at late in the night as well. So what is happening there? Second, the trend that is coming up, or we faced great resignation, and today what it is said is 60% of people are actually going through quiet quitting, which is much more dangerous than the great resignation, because there, or a moonlighting, right? We all have seen that. But I would say quiet quitting is one of the very, very dangerous things which is happening to the industry overall, or and a big challenge for HR, because otherwise, how will you motivate these people? And with this new Gen Zs coming into the play, they, I would say, are different breeds, or maybe we don't understand them fully. And whenever there is a new generation coming up, we always say, "Oh God, these guys are totally different."
Yeah.
So I would say these, because we don't understand them fully, or there are not many into it, so there would be some challenges that the industry would face, and most of the industries would face. But good thing about the Gen Zs are they have a courage to speak up,
Yeah.
which maybe earlier generation didn't have.
Hmm.
These guys can actually come and challenge you right on your face. And I
Hmm.
think that will change the entire industry, how it works. They will not kind of request for respect, but they will command a respect. And they will say, okay, if you are not interested of respecting me, thank you very much. I will find someone else. That's what will change for us or everyone. And if we don't change with them, it would be difficult for everyone to kind of work. So I think Gen Z, if they come up, it would be real good change for the entire HR and overall industry. I think they will add a lot of value to the companies.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, I mean, as you say, I would even agree to it that they are outspoken, they come and communicate, and managing them would be a whole new skill that the organization has to then adapt to,
Yeah.
but then they can bring a fresh change, right? So
Yes.
then, for you, if I now zoom out and talk about your role and as a leader, what would be some of the challenges that you are encountering? I think you kind of hinted there was this market aspect of quitting that we observed and so on. But then, from a leadership point of view, what are some of the challenges that you foresee and you have been in a way encountering, and would be great to also know how you've gone about addressing them.
See, few things that I would say come sometimes become a challenge is the balancing act that HR or any leader would play. Because on one side you have an owner or a management who wants to drive something. On the other side, you have to see that it is good for employees also. Because ultimately, and every leader will do. It's not only HR or any leader or anyone who is into the leadership position has to play that balancing act between the two different forces. It could be operations and innovation between these two. Again, there could be always a balancing act. So I would say that's the balancing act that as an HR we need to kind of do. And whenever I have faced that challenge, that there is something which is new to be brought in, or something to the open communication or a transparent communication with both the parties, whether it is management and how it brings value to them, as well as how it brings value to the employee, and making sure that each one gets their share. It's not one has to be balanced or one has to bias towards one side or the other. If each one is balanced, and when you talk to your leadership team, align them, and you make them or have a buy-in from them, and you percolate it down, at the same time with the function heads and things who know it a bit more than maybe at a leadership team, not an outside in, but inside out, is more known to these function heads, those employees who are handling these functions or handling the adding these functions. When you talk to them and say this is what it is, and this is how we want to implement this change or this thing, they buy in, and you get the, I would say, replies or changes from them, and then you sort it out with them with respect to the transparent communication. And once they are bought in, I would say it's easy path to climb it. If
Right.
there is a challenge within these two where you are getting a bit biased towards one side or the other, then it is really, really difficult to kind of navigate your work through.
Hmm. Hmm. So,
That's my take on any challenge to be taken or addressed.
Yeah. And I think this is quite I would say also quite deep because I mean while there are from time, economy, company, all of that various challenges, but this balancing act is where I would say is very critical to have both the point of views and be able to have an even discussion and so on. Perfect. So, Anand, very soon we'll be now at the end of the podcast. And one of the final questions that I have for you, which is linking to one of the previous conversation of Gen Z, is what is your advice to them? I mean, they will join the workforce soon. They will, encounter the ways of working and so on. What would you suggest them? How should they think about work life, even the domain and the function of HR? Would be great to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure. I think I will say that what I started with, think about the business and not only about HR. Because if anyone thinks about the business and the Gen Zs, I think they will more talk about the ultimate goal, and they will not worry about whether it is late in the night or early in the morning that they have to work. Because they will be, if you tell them, or okay, so coming back to your question, what you said, what is your advice? My advice to them will be, think about the business. Any business or any function you join, you think about the business and have ultimate aim of making sure the business flourishes or business
Right.
grows. If the business grows, every other function grows. And coming back to specific to HR domain, I would say that learn technology, adopt to the technology, because in HR there are almost, I would say, 60 to 70% tasks that can be automated.
Hmm.
And if I am joining as an HR leader or a HR executive, I need to know that this job can be automated, then why somebody will hire me? So I should be the one who should say that, boss, this is the thing, out of my 100% job, I think 50% I can automate through this technology. Why don't you help me in automating it so that I can take a few more things? The moment someone goes, and that awareness, today we try to kind of dodge that question. The moment we say, oh, technology is coming, I don't think this will be successful. I think this will be a problem in the if we implement the technology. There might be, but ultimately, if I don't think AI will take the job, but the person who knows AI will take the job rather than the AI per se. So why can't I be the person who knows the AI and I know the data? Because these are the two, I would say, future skills that any HR professional should have. One, have a good technology built in, and second is with respect to the data driven empathy with the employees, that in any case as an HR professional has been ingrained in, would have been, it all from the courses and what you would have done. But these two things, if the new person who is joining the industry knows, they will flourish. That's my take. What's your thing about it?
My thing about it,
What do you think?
I
Yeah.
fully
What do
agree.
you think?
Fully agree. When it comes to technology, the time to finish a task, what takes a day, you could do in under an hour because HR and even many other functions, a large part of the work is very manual and repetitive in nature, and available information elsewhere that has to be input elsewhere, and a lot of this can be very easily done if you have basic understanding of technology. I mean, so to say, coding, you don't need coding in the age of AI because a lot of it is actually prompt. So I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that. And then data analytics is very, very separate because, again, having a knowledge and understanding of that, I mean, makes you realize the true truth of a situation, right? In a very unbiased manner. So, I mean, highly, highly agree with you. And those are great points, irrespective of a young career person or an experienced one. So it holds true either way. Perfect, Anand. So with
Yes.
that, I would really like to thank you for your time, insight. I would definitely say a very enjoyable conversation and highly insightful. And thank you so much for your time and wish you the very best and a nice weekend.
Thank you, and same to you, and thanks for inviting me. It was really, really, great conversation, and good to hear from you what the company is doing, and great to know about it. Thank you so much.